Number 7, is liposuction ever a good idea? And I think a context for this question, you can view this question in a couple different contexts. One is in the context of our discussions all weekend here with respect to health. So I would kind of think back to when we talked about obesity and the situations where carrying excess body fat can be problematic. And in particular, we talked about how tight of a relationship there is with the abdominal waist circumference and medical complications. And the reason why there's such a close relationship there is because that measurement reflects intra-abdominal, or what we call visceral body fat accumulation inside the abdomen, inside the organs, inside the liver, for example, which is different. Visceral body fat or adipose accumulation is a bit different than subcutaneous or body fat that accumulates under the skin. And so when body fat or adipose is infiltrating your abdominal organs, your liver, your pancreas, things like that, that's when we see big time increases in diabetes risk, cardiovascular risk, things like that. Whereas liposuction as a treatment primarily removes subcutaneous body fat, not the kind that's inside, not the kind that's in the liver. So there's actually some data on this. There's a small study that I found while I was prepping for this, where they took a group of women, some of whom had diabetes and some of whom did not, all of whom had excess body fat, and they performed serial large volume liposuction, removing large amounts of subcutaneous body fat. You're gonna say something?
What if you just move it?
Put it someplace else?
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that.
Okay, all right.
And they serially removed this subcutaneous body fat, and then when they looked at how they did afterwards, they did find that their waist circumference went down as a result of removing body fat, obviously. Their leptin levels went down, and leptin is a hormone that is high when you have lots of body fat and low when you have less body fat, so that obviously went down. That all makes sense. When they measured their actual levels of insulin resistance and their cardiovascular risk factors, things like blood lipids and things like that, there's no change. So from a health standpoint, I do not have a good case to make for liposuction. If you say, is it ever a good idea? Well, that's strictly up to you from a cosmetic standpoint. At that point, I would not recommend it for medical benefits. If there is excess body fat that needs to be dealt with invasively or surgically, and there are medical issues going on, or even if there aren't and you meet criteria based on the criteria that we talked about yesterday, I would say real bariatric surgery is far more beneficial from a health standpoint than liposuction would be, because we talked about how the long-term 20, 25-year follow-up of patients who get bariatric surgery, they have much greater and much more sustained weight loss and health benefits. Like, you can cure diabetes in like a couple days after getting bariatric surgery. It just like goes away, which is pretty wild. Whereas liposuction does not have any of those benefits outside of cosmetic effects.
Yeah, I think if for whatever reason you're getting like visceral liposuction,
don't think that's
liposuction, yeah, maybe that. Or if the liposuction would somehow improve adherence to other lifestyle changes, if you felt like I'm going to pay for this procedure from an aesthetic standpoint, or because I feel like it's going to jumpstart my progress, and that's really going to help keep me motivated, and it does, as far as improving adherence to a health promoting dietary pattern and exercise, like cool. But if you're just like moving it around, from like front to back, I don't know that that's the move.